Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up-and-coming around the Lego world. I'm your Minifigure host, Matt. Let's build on it. Welcome in, everybody. How you doing today? Hopefully you're doing quite well. If you're not, hopefully you are now, because you're here with me, and I love you. I mean it, man. I love you. I love you, Blue. Anyway, we are talking all things Lego Masters United States Season 4, Episode number 3 this time. And it was a doozy. I teased it on the last episode where we were going to be talking volcanoes, of all things, talking volcanoes. Oh my God. Who would have thought? A challenge with a volcano. Anyway, so volcanoes. Let's go ahead and deep dive into this thing. So as usual, I'm not trying to be like, oh, well, this team went first. I'm just going in the order that I have them listed. Sam and Nina, they did Penguin Island. Okay, I should give a preface to this. They had a few different things that they had to do. They could do it like a desert environment. They could do an Arctic environment or a cloud environment or an underwater environment. However, Sam and Nina did Penguin environment. Obviously, it is an Arctic world. It's a very ice theme, very much so. So they built this giant mountain with roller coaster track that went all around it. Well, not all around it, across the front. And the idea was for the lava to hit the minecart on the side of the mountain, send it down, spin around. So they had it, if you're looking at it from the front, it was on the right side, comes down the right side, sends the cart down. And then I believe it was a 90-degree bend back the other direction and then straight down. Kind of simple in its execution, right? It sounds really simple. Nothing that hasn't been done in a Lego set before. So then they also had an idea where they wanted the lava to come down a trough that would spin a wheel of palm fronds to cool off the penguins who were like sunning on the beach. What looked like a beach. So what happened? Boom! They send pyrotechnics out of every volcano and then the lava trickles out. That orange goo. Anyway. So what happened was the cart flew off the tracks. Sam had mentioned that he believes it picked up the vibration of the explosion, which caused it to trigger early. We all know how that can be. Anyway, so the lava went through the trough, but the problem was it went down a crack. So the lava didn't go the whole way down the trough and spill the frond. Like the first segment of it, before it even made the angled turn, it went straight down a crack. So that it was definitely not good. Amy wanted more snow. Jamie wanted more character. And I see it completely. It was kind of a naked mountain. Wasn't really pretty. It was like a dark bluish gray. So Poppy and Ben, they did the City of the Scorpion Worshippers. Holy Jiminy Crickets. This was a huge build. So the idea behind this is the scorpion was awoken and it's angry. The scorpion build is incredible. Oh my God, it was so nicely done. The columns behind it were a beautiful addition. Like you had the scorpion breaking out between the columns and the columns were leaned kind of forward and to the side. It was gorgeous. It also had like vibes of like a Colosseum, like the Colosseum, the actual Colosseum itself, very aqueduct type architecture, very unique. So the idea was that the it could be a llama. The lava came down and what it did is it wiped out the monarch that was in there. It just completely wiped it out. It's gorgeous. It worked. It was pretty. It did everything that it was supposed to. And then the build was exquisite in its own right. So super props to them. Allison and Melanie, they did a Kaboom Box the Rockano. This was a cloud theme. And so what they did, I will say, it was kind of this weird mishmash of things to me. From looking at it, you pause it, you scan it over a few times, you're like, what are they going for here? I don't quite understand that. Because it gives you an idea to figure out, what is what are they building without knowing the premise of what they're telling you in their story? So it just felt very random, but it apparently is some kind of planet, which is fine. And on this planet, you have a boombox with eyes that appears to be like it's atop the volcano. It's not really. Anyway, so you have a giant pulling area that is down below. Well, of course, the lava comes down. It goes through the whole thing through the clouds, and it pulls in the giant pool down below. I must have said pool 5 times at this point. However, so you have this lava pool. It's kind of unique. It's kind of cute. And I'm a big fan of how that looks. If they're in space above the clouds, does that work? Is that a physics thing? I know it's make-believe. Anyway, Amy was a giant fan of them creating a whole unique world. I get that. I get that 100%. For me, initially seeing it before the story was told, because obviously Amy made these comments after the story was told, it's kind of like, well, okay, okay, I see what you see now. But initially it's kind of like, what do we got here? Anyway, so on to Tim and Tim, the T2, the Texas Tims, the T squared. I'm not giving it up, so just quit yelling at your listening device. They did theirs. It's called the Big Plunge. It was a coastal city. Theirs is the underwater theme that sunk into the ocean because endless amounts of rain. The details feel kind of abstract to a certain degree, but they are very familiar from weeks past. Like their fish builds and stuff like that, they seem very reminiscent of things that they have built in the past 2 weeks, past 2 episodes. So it's very kind of, okay, fine. I see where you're going with this. However, the lava came down brilliantly, and it actually triggered a fish build. It had 2 fish that were there, and they rotated around as the lava passed by. Loved it. Thought it was super cute, super cool. Big fan of it. It definitely makes up for what may or may not be any other shortcomings. So I do like the build. The question is, does it put you in the top 2? No. Does it put you in the bottom 2? Probably not. Anyway, moving along, we have Jordan and Chris. They chose to do the Ancient Awakening. This is a desert theme. It's obviously above ground. It's not wet. They had this very tall build that stuck out from their kind of desert scape that looked like a giant monolith. And the thing is, it wasn't just like a monolith. It had like scorpion symbology made out of tiles on the side, which the colors that they used, I was like, this doesn't feel right. Like some purples and some pinks, magentas that were going on is kind of weird. The other thing that I noticed is while it was a desert heavy environment, you expect dunes and stuff like that. It was kind of flat. So that is definitely something that needs to be looked at, obviously, that may not favor you. However, the turning water wheel that they came up with, the idea the lava is going to flow across this and raise this giant brick built snake out of the sand. I love the idea. I was like, oh my God, we're going full Ninjago vibes here. Like Christopher and Robert. Hey bro, you got your work cut out for you. If we are going full Ninjago vibes here, I was, oh my God, I was titillated by it. So the idea is the lava is going to come down, turn this water wheel of a sense, and again, going to raise the snake. So the lava, as it's coming down, it never made its way down completely onto the wheel. What it looked like is they used kind of these rubber kind of like Technic grommets that have the 2 axle holes in them, one on each side. And it never, like it moved, but it wasn't enough to do anything. It was definitely a miscalculation. It was one of those things where you have to take into the laws of mechanics and physics to a certain degree, the viscosity of the lava, which definitely hindered some things 100%. So Jamie was definitely not pleased at the fact that there was not a volcano build. Like, they were supposed to build a volcano around this pyrotechnic stuff, and they built this kind of semi-unique monolith, which they could have done something with it, but you maybe they should have made a higher tiering of the desert sands or something like that, or had a pyramid right next to it. I don't know, but he was not pleased at all. So Lewis and Alex, they did the Temple of the Sea God. It was an underwater temple. Totally digging it. Love the way this was done. The decoration, not the architecture. Beautiful decoration all around this thing. The underwater animals, the sharks and stuff like that. Obviously, they're standard sharks from the Lego category, but I'm giant fan of the way it was done. Nice detail. Not as nice a detail as some of the other teams that you'll hear about and have heard about, but nevertheless is still really well done. So the lava came down into the head of this giant kind of skull statue and out of the mouth. And I didn't quite understand what they were getting at, but apparently what happens is when it comes down, there's light bricks in the rear. And what happens is as the lava comes down, it opens the eyes or the eyelids, and the lava is, or the brick lights, whatever light bricks are shown through the lava. So you get this kind of glowing effect and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. The glowing eye effect. Oh my God. Exquisite. Really super well done. So Aubrey and Ryan, they did the Temple of Gold. Oh my dear God. So they built a temple around the volcano with the legend that there is gold within the walls of the temple. So you've got this whole mystery behind it. You're like, oh, there's gold in there. I was expecting the volcano's going to come down. It's going to crash, or we're going to see gold pieces spill out. So the exterior of this thing was gorgeous. Honestly, this was probably the best exterior build of anybody. And when I say details, specifically here, I mean tiny, minute details. Just absolutely gorgeous. And I gotta say, there is absolutely 100% something about husband-wife teams in the past few seasons that are absolutely killing it. I don't know if it's communication. I don't know if it's desire. Hello. I don't know what it is, but they are absolutely killing it right now. So Amy had mentioned, and I'll read it, quote, rich in details. Yes, their build was rich in details. Every single thing. And one of the things that she had reached out about and mentioned was they had the kind of rope ladder that is going from, I believe it was like the ground upward. And she was like, and the fact that you had broken planks in there, really means that there is peril there. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even catch that detail, but yes, 100%. Love the build. On to Christopher and Robert, my Ninjago dudes. They called theirs the Jungle Bastion of the Sun. So to set the stage, which completely caught me off guard, Christopher set the scene with a tune, kind of like, oh, something like that you would expect of, I don't know, something in the desert region of the world, but in a long lost time, Arabian, like I think of like the Aladdin movie, or I think of like certain video games where you have this ominous, that kind of thing. It's kind of what he did. And I loved it. It cracked me up. It definitely caught the judges off guard. It caught Will off guard. It caught everybody off guard. And then he went into this dynamic story, which was impressive. So the idea is the lava is to spew from the mouth of a statue. Yes, again, somebody different. And the idea is that it is supposed to ward off the invaders coming to the island, and also causing the ancient statues that are there on the island to awaken and defend the island. Cool story, cool idea. The exterior, gorgeous. Not as great as Aubrey and Ryan. However, it was nicely detailed. I just have to give the nod there to Aubrey and Ryan. There's just something different about theirs. However, they did a really good job. One of my favorite builds on the episode. And the funny thing is, as the lava came down, like you're expecting, okay, what is it going to do? It actually turned one of the statues around as if it was awakened, like in guarding the temple that they had going on here. I love it. Just, it's a great idea. And when it works, and it sells hard to the judges. At this point, Jamie goes, hey, this is your best build yet. I agree. I think this is great. Last week's build, you kind of like, I know you could do better. It hit the details this week. So next up, we have Emily and Kelly. They did Rainmaker Island. This was another cloud build, by the way. But theirs was with the idea that the Rainmaker people are using the volcano to make rain fall. Obviously, you get into the whole thermals and weather patterns and, all that kind of goodness out there. So the lava came down and it appears over these trans-clear glass type pieces, and it comes down and it looks like a ski slope, honestly, and it comes down. I thought it was nice. I felt like something was missing. Like, I don't know if it was like details or something like that. It definitely wasn't as detailed as some of the other builds. Bottom two, I don't know. I don't really think so. Top two, no, no, not at all. However, it was nice. Like I said, it just felt like something was missing. It was a cute build though. So we end the show. Not here. Not this show. However, they ended the episode and they went into, this whole caricature of, oh, it's not over yet. And, the judges, oh my goodness. They had fake lava blow out of the quote unquote set volcano that they had built. It was fake. It was CGI. Dude, I hate this. It was so cheesy. And I warned y'all in the last episode, like, I feel like some things they're pushing harder with some stupid stuff. They're running out of ideas to a certain degree. And I'm not hating on the people that create these challenges. It just seemed overly produced. The fake reactions from the judges, from Will, from the contestants, it was bad. So, I mean, just stop. Give us a great episode. Stop the cheesiness. Like, it was oversold. I don't understand the point of it. I really don't understand the point of it. So what I did, I watched it like 3 times. And then I turned the volume completely down and I watched it again. And then I go, hey, I told my son to come in here. I was like, Finn, hey, I want you to watch this. I said, I'm going to turn the sound off. I want you to watch this. And I gave him no preface other than I want you to watch this. So he watched it and I said, hey, what do you think? And the first thing out of his mouth was, that's bad editing. Y'all, if a 14-year-old is calling out production as bad editing, I mean, where do you go from there? This is supposed to be entertainment, but it's like a mix of reality television with, I don't know, heavy cheesiness to it. Like if you would, like, the episode was great and then you throw that 30 seconds in there, and I believe there was a commercial break in between, like you throw that in and it completely ruins it. Like, I was good and then it just ruined it. It just stop. So now we got to move on to the other part of the show here. We've got our best 2, we got our bottom 2. So our best 2 were as follows. We got Poppy and Ben. Yes. Finally. So Jamie loved the lava flow control specifically. I would agree. The way that they managed it was exquisite. I thought it was really well done. Their build was immaculately complete. Maybe not as detailed as Aubrey and Ryan, but still up there. And the second one that was in the top 2 was Christopher and Robert. I was kind of like, oh, cool. The story behind it is what Amy loved. 100% she was on board with it. I would agree. I think the storytelling was exquisite. Maybe not 100% of the details, but still really, really well done. So obviously the hair-raising moment of who's going to win? Well, it was Poppy and Ben. It was Poppy and Ben. So let's talk about the bottom two. Jordan and Chris, obviously in the bottom because they just didn't have, their stuff come through their volcano. The judges were not happy that it wasn't a volcano. Jamie had mentioned the challenge was a volcano. It wasn't a volcano. It was this weird monolith above a desert landscape, which is sparsely decorated. It just, I get it. And then we had Nina and Sam. Holy crap. Talk about a fall from grace. What I didn't tell you in the beginning is that they chose not to use their golden brick. Holy crap. What a bad time not to use it. Hey, you know what? We got this challenge sewn up. No, we ain't using it. Y'all, come on. So the judges had mentioned that there were flaws. We know the flaws. I had already mentioned the flaws to you. Just didn't happen. It was a bad build. I understand the cart coming off of the track, but you've got to know the immutable laws of physics that this lava, this viscous substance, is not like this. It's not like a great ball contraption. When you have this ball, it's going to roll down the chute. Any tiny crack, it is going to find. And it sure as hell did. So definitely some flaws that are in there. So the team that went home, Jordan and Chris. I don't know that Nina and Sam would have gone home here. I understand Jordan and Chris going home. It just didn't work. The design wasn't there. Jamie was not a fan. Nina and Sam's build was not horrible. Definitely wasn't great. Not some of their best work. So now that we know who went home, let's talk about the basement dwellers. So we've got a few right now. So Emily and Kelly were there, obviously. Not this week. Jordan and Chris, they were there last week. They're here this week, and they are gonzos. And then we had a new one here with Nina and Sam, and the fact that they lost their golden brick because they were in the bottom two. The golden brick is available for the next episode. Hello. Can't wait to see where that goes. So let's talk about power rankings. We've got to get into them. So we have 9 teams left, and obviously Jordan and Chris would be at the bottom of the number 10 spot. So we're going to keep them off of here. So moving forward, we are going to go with Emily and Kelly, who lose a spot this week. They drop below Paul and Nalita. Just definitely not their best work. Still continuing that trend of average at best. Just struggling, Then we're moving up here and we're going to number 8 and we're going with Tim and Tim. Now, Tim and Tim drop a spot this week. You'll find out why. While their build was nice, it definitely doesn't feel like it's something that is going to elevate them into the midfield. And honestly, I would not be shocked in the next episode or two that they're in the bottom 2 and go home. So moving up next at the 7 spot, you are going to spit out the water or whatever is in your mouth at this moment in time if you're drinking or eating something. Nina and Sam. Sam and Nina. 100%. Oh my God, Matt, you're putting them at number 7. What is wrong with you? Have you lost your mind? No, I haven't lost my mind. Their build was crap. It was horrible. And you cannot disagree with me. The execution behind it was poor. It did not do what it was supposed to. And, you're talking about a 6-spot drop from first place. And I can justify the rest of them. When you end up in the bottom 2, you're going to get that fall from grace. Are they still better than, some of the others in Tim and Tim? Yes. In Emily and Kelly? Yes. Overall, yes. And here's where I kind of struggled. So my number 6 team here was Paul and Nalita. Their build was exquisite. Loved it. Thought it was gorgeous. Thought it worked. And it was just really well done. And it was just kind of one of those things. And I totally forgot to mention it. They did the Legend of the Arctic Island. Obviously, it was Arctic. They had this dragon in the belly of the ice mountain. I love the eyes, the way they were done. The lava triggered the minifig to the zip line, which a minifig zip lined out of danger. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then you had a wheel that turned as well at the bottom. The mechanics were perfect. And I apologize, I didn't give that dude credit. I totally skipped over that one. However, they have moved up. They are my number 6 team. They are better than what Sam and Nina overall have created. Now, I was harsh last week with Paul and Nilita. I thought their build was garbage. It was what the judges wanted, but I didn't feel what it should have been for Lego Masters, right? It felt very childish. So moving up to number 5, we have Allison and Melanie. Allison and Melanie are falling one spot this week. And again, while their build was really nice, there are definitely some others that moved above. I don't think it's crazy that they dropped one spot. I think that's well within things. I think it's fine. The number 4 spot this week, we have Christopher and Robert, who rise one spot. They basically switch spots with Allison and Melanie. You have to. You're in the top 2. This was a question of, do they rise further? Do they not? Their overall body of work, I think, is pretty good. I think 4 is a good spot for them. You could argue 3A and 3B maybe with them, but they're going to stay at 4 right now. Poppy and Ben move up to number 3 this week. They make a big jump from number 6. But you look at who they jumped over. They jumped over Christopher and Robert. They jumped over Allison and Melanie. And you had Sam and Nina fall. Like, it seems well within there. They were the winners of the challenge. They were in the top 2. Like, you definitely deserve elevation there. So I have Lewis and Alex at number 2 here. And the reason I have them there, they didn't drop as far as they didn't finish in the bottom 2. They weren't in the top 2, but they were one of those builds that was in the top 3 or 4 at best. And based on what they did in weeks past, I just found it hard to drop them further than that. Now, you could have said, well, Poppy and Ben, but Poppy and Ben already made their move. Right? They moved up from 6 to 3. Is it really worthy of them moving up to 2? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. So you know who that leaves the number 1 team this week in the power rankings? It's going to be Aubrey and Ryan. I think Aubrey and Ryan moving from 3 last week to number 1 this week. And here's why. Sam and Nina fell very far. And Lewis and Alex did have a good build, but I think the fact that the judges were so enamored by Aubrey and Ryan's build, they definitely deserve a bump above Lewis and Alex. They were in that tier of 3 to 4 as far as their build on the show, in my opinion. So you definitely have to move them up. And so right now, moving into next week, into episode 4, Aubrey and Ryan hold the number 1 spot in the power rankings. So the question now becomes, what happens next week? Next week, they're given the challenge of they have to choose from these boxes. And each box has a different sound effect that they have to build out of Lego. Not like, hey, this is a music note. What does this sound look like in the form of Lego? Like, how can you build this scene around what this sound effect is supposed to be? We are going way out there, y'all. This is wild. I cannot wait to see what this thing looks like. So anyway, we're going to get out of here. But if you're somebody that's like, you know what? I think my power rankings myself are better. You know what? Send me your power rankings. I would love to see it. Let me know. Hey, do you think I'm wrong? I am absolutely open to a discussion because my opinion's my opinion. Your opinion's your opinion. But this is where the power rankings stand this week on the Bricks King podcast. So until we meet again, I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it.